All right, let's talk about one of the most frustrating things for any developer who uses an AI coding assistant, losing your context. In this explainer, we are going to build a simple, almost completely automated system that gives Claude a perfect, rock-solid memory of your projects.
You know the feeling, right? You have an amazing, super productive session with Claude. You're solving tough problems, you're just in the zone. And then you close your terminal. The next morning, you fire it up, and it's like Claude has total amnesia. You're right back to square one, spending the first 10 minutes just explaining your project all over again. It's such a momentum killer.
And look, it's not just you. This is a universal thing. The guide we're pulling from puts it perfectly. It's a wall that every single developer hits. By default, Claude just doesn't have any memory between sessions. It starts with a completely blank slate every single time.
But what if I told you there's a way to fix that? Not just a workaround, but a permanent solution. It's elegant, it's simple, and once you set it up, it pretty much runs itself. We're going to build a system that makes sure Claude picks up right where you left off every single time.
So here's the secret sauce. The whole thing is built on what we're calling a 4-layer memory stack. And all it is, really, is a few text files and a simple little script that all work together to give our AI a really robust memory.
That's it, just 4 pieces. And don't worry, when I say stack, don't let that scare you off. Each part has a very specific job, and they are all incredibly easy to set up, even if you're not a command line guru.
Okay, so let's do a quick flyby of these 4 layers. First up, you've got Claude.md, which is like our permanent rulebook. Then there's Primer.md. That's the dynamic part, the living diary that Claude actually updates itself. Layer 3 is Memory.sh, which pulls in live info from Git. And the final layer, a Git hook, which creates a totally automatic history log. Put them all together, and you get a perfect picture of your project. All right, let's dive in and start with the foundation of the whole system, the 2 main markdown files that are going to act as Claude's long-term and short-term memory.
So think of CLAUDE.md as your project's constitution. It's a file you create one time, right in the root of your project. Claude reads this file at the start of every session. The key here is that it's static. Claude reads it, but it never, ever changes it. This is where you lay down the law.
So what kind of stuff do you put in here? Well, you define your project, the tech stack, what it does. You lay out your coding conventions, tabs versus spaces. You set architectural rules. You can even list things Claude should never do. But listen up, because this last one, this is the absolute linchpin of the whole system. You have to include a clear instruction telling Claude to rewrite that other memory file, primer.md, when you end your session. That one command powers this entire dynamic system. And that's really the core difference right there. Claude.md is static. You write it once, it's the rulebook. Primer.md, on the other hand, is totally dynamic. Claude itself writes a new version of this file at the end of every single session to perfectly capture the current state of your project.
And this primer.md file, it becomes this incredibly powerful handoff document. It's a summary of where things stand, what you just got done, what the very next steps are, any blockers you're facing, and any big decisions you made. So when you start your next session, Claude reads this and boom, it's instantly up to speed.
Okay, so those markdown files are fantastic for remembering things from one session to the next. But what about the stuff that happens between sessions? Maybe you made a few commits or changed some files manually. For that real-time, up-to-the-minute context, we need to pull in some live data from Git. And this is where Layer 3 Memory.sh steps onto the stage. It's just a simple little shell script that you run right before you start talking to Claude. It pings Git for info, like your current branch, your most recent commits, which files have changed, and it bundles all that up into a nice little text block you can just paste right into your prompt. And getting this set up is ridiculously easy. Seriously. You create the file, you paste in the script from the guide, and then you run one single command, chmod +x memory.sh, to make it executable. You only have to do that once, ever. So we've got our static rules, our dynamic state file, and our live context injector. The final piece of the puzzle is the one that works completely silently in the background. It's the magic ingredient, full automation. This is the Git post commit hook. And if that sounds complicated, don't worry. It's not. It's just a tiny script that Git automatically runs for you every single time you make a successful commit. We're going to use it to build a perfect audit trail, just adding every commit message and timestamp to a running log file. And just like with the memory script, setting this up is a walk in the park. You just go into the hidden .git/hooks folder, create a new file called post commit, paste in a tiny script,
and make it executable. That's it. From that point on, every single commit you make gets logged automatically without you even thinking about it. Okay, deep breath. We've built all the pieces. We have all 4 layers. Now let's put it all together and see what your new super-powered workflow actually looks like in practice. Your new workflow is beautiful in its simplicity. After that one-time setup, you just start each session by running your memory.sh script. You code like you normally would, and that little Git hook is silently logging your commits in the background. Then, at the very end, you just tell Claude end session, and it updates the primer.md file for you, all ready for next time. And here it is, the whole system at a glance. This is a great one to screenshot, by the way. It shows you exactly what each file does. CLAUDE.md for your static rules, primer.md for the dynamic state, memory.sh for live context, and projectmemory.md for that automatic history. And that is what it's all about. That's the payoff. You've officially solved the amnesia problem. You can jump into a project any day of the week and know for a fact that your AI partner has the full context of where you are, what you've done, and what you need to do next. It's all about staying in that flow state and being as productive as possible. With just 4 little files and maybe 20 minutes of setup, you can completely change your entire workflow. So the only question left is, which one of your projects are you going to give a perfect memory to first?